Hi Pisces, it's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology. Today I'm here to discuss the Scorpio full moon. And no, it is not written up here. And why do I say that? Because I'm changing the ascendant as I go. So you can see yourself, right? And what's going on with your energy here between each video, right? So Pisces, yes, the full moon is illuminating your ninth house of higher purpose, growth, and expansion. So there's some type of change definitely, that is related to those ninth house themes, right? And the full moon is happening on May 1st at 5:23 Universal Time. This is also 10:23 a.m. local time here on the West Coast in the United States. Yes. And so the full moon is called the flower moon. It's a deeply transformative moon as Scorpio is concerned with depth and intensity. Yeah. And the full moon will illuminate what lies beneath. It's encouraging us to see what's been hidden, to lift the veil, to trust your intuition, or just to see kind of what's been hidden. Now, some of those can be secrets, external secrets, but it's usually within, right? Like what's been kind of hidden to us, and as we kind of grow and evolve, we're able to see those things that may be tucked away, kind of, right? Tucked way down, right? So the full moon also will illuminate emotional or encourage us to be emotionally honest. That is yes, it is. So, because it wants us to see what's been hidden or what's been beneath and just be emotionally honest. Scorpio is it's an emotional, psychological sign. It's a fixed sign, and it is also, um, regarding money, shared wealth, and, which can be inheritances or taxes or even the money that you share with your spouse or things like that, and intimate relationships as well. And that is what Scorpio is concerned with. It also rules crises and the taboo, yes, and personal power, yeah. So that moon right there is in that ninth house of higher purpose. Right. And so we also have the full moon encourages us to balance material comfort with emotional depth, right? We need that. We can't just be focusing on money. We always need the emotional depth in our life, right? And that is the axis or the opposition of the full moon in Scorpio and Taurus. We're going to talk about what house it's in for you. Well, we know your moon is in the ninth or the full moon, but the sun is in the third. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. And the full moon will also encourage us to balance to material comfort with vulnerability and stability with surrender because Taurus wants stability and sometimes doesn't allow change because it doesn't like change, right? And Scorpio is all about transformation and change. So we have those two opposing signs that are so very important, right? Every axis with the opposite sign is telling us something. It definitely is. And we see it with the full moons, right? With the opposition. The opposition is asking us to create balance or merge these energies together, the higher expression of them. So Pisces, yeah, that ninth house where the full moon sits is also in your house of long distance travel and faraway lands and philosophy and teaching. Your philosophy may be changing, right? Here you are in the ascendant, and the North Node is in your sign. So that's a really good thing. Not necessarily in your own unique chart, right? Your own natal chart, but here with the transits, you're feeling this. Everybody, any Pisces is feeling this, right? And I would say Virgo too, because the South Node is here, and they are connected. Yeah, they are. Although the North Node is where we want to go, and the South Node is where we want to leave behind. Yeah, they're still connected there, right? Remember, I said everything on the axis is really connected. So, yeah. And the sun is in Taurus in your house of communication and thinking. You could be thinking a lot during Taurus season. You definitely could about something that is transforming in your life, or at least will with the full moon, right? That is on May 1st, right? And so the full moon is likely to help you learn something because it's in your house of learning and higher potential. Yeah, it can help you see something and learn, right? And that could support your well-being or your financial stability because it's opposing that sun, right? In Taurus, and that could be supporting your well-being or your financial stability with that sun there in Taurus. And also making you it's making you analyze things so that right? It's making you analyze most likely what needs to transform regarding your purpose or regarding growth and transformation. Venus is the ruler of the sun. And so Venus is in Gemini right now, right? Here's Venus in your fourth house of emotional needs. You're thinking about that. There's something about that you need, probably need for yourself, or you need balance, or you're seeking some type of emotional foundation or balance. And Venus, it's in Gemini in that fourth house of emotional needs and home and family. But Venus rules your third house, Pisces, of the mind. So, this would make a lot of sense because Pisceans, think from a place of compassion and they think from a place of love, right? They do. They do. And so, and that's what Venus really is about. So you're kind of, this is the way you think, kind of from a place of like compromise or compassion and uh, also creative ideas, right? When we see we see Venus ruling uh, your third house, and excuse me, you guys, and your communication with others, right? Venus also rules relationships. So Venus is um, rules your third house and also rules your eighth house of transformation. There's a big change for you. Maybe how you see yourself in relationships, that could be it too. Scorpio does talk about intimate relationships where the moon sits. But how you create harmony and balance, likely within, it could be within because Scorpio is about the depth and intensity, right? It's very psychological. This can be about how you create harmony in your own life, right? Because the sun, Venus is ruling your third, but it's in your fourth house of emotional needs, right? There is a focus on that right now to some degree. All right, so I have the moon. Let's look at the moon here, what it's doing. As I said, it's trining the north node, helping you move along your path, your higher path. It's squaring Jupiter, not Jupiter, Pluto in your 12th house of endings. Pluto is endings. It's associated with that. This is challenging for you to kind of a little bit. It looks like it's challenging you, same thing sort of, for you to accept change. Yeah, it is because there's probably something you're feeling comfortable about, right? Taurus in the third house, or Venus ruling the third house. This can mean that, my decisions, I like the ones I already made. My stability, and is, or I make decisions based on stability, but that's what the full moon is saying. Don't focus so much on stability. Focus on emotional, like combine the emotional depth in your own life and seeing that you may need transformation, right? That's what the full moon is doing that to all of us, Pisces, not just you, right? Of course not. And that full moon is in another water sign, a psychological house. And the full moon is between these fixed signs. So there's something that you want to kind of hold on to a little bit, but you are also seeing here that has to do with your higher purpose or your growth. You're also seeing that change can help you. Yeah, you're seeing that as well because it is trining this north node. So of your higher path, right? It looks like it's hard to allow the transformation or to let go of something. And that can have to do with home and family as well. That is a possibility here, right? Because um, it just is. It can also have to do with that because, um, yeah, because Venus rules your eighth house of transformation, and we're talking about transformation like in a huge way, right? So let's see what else we have here. And here you have Jupiter in your fifth house. And Jupiter is your fifth, it's in a water sign, it's exalted there, it's really powerful, it's supporting you. But Jupiter will also challenge you if you are not growing or expanding, right? That's just what it does, right? And I've seen it do it before too. People I know, yeah. So, here we have Jupiter doing that from your house of the sense of yourself, your self-identity, your self-expression. This is the house of authenticity and your talents, right? So here you are, not here you are, but we have this stellium and all these planets here. Your own Neptune, this is your modern ruler. Jupiter is your traditional ruler, which but here you have Neptune, which wants you to believe in your dreams and trust your imagination. And you guys are highly imaginative and creative, but trust in your dreams and your visions and, whatever you are imagining for yourself. That's in your second house of well-being and self-worth. So it is trying to support that here, and Jupiter is challenging you, saying, you know what? If you want to grow in, it's challenging you to grow and to expand either with your creative self pursuits, creative pursuits, or your own self expression, right? Be who you are, be authentic, right? And that's what it wants, right? And so, for us to become authentic and to go after our purpose where the full moon is, right? We have to accept change, or we have to accept the unknown. You can't grow or anything like that if you stay in the same energy. It looks like your ideas here, this third house, your ideas, your goals and stuff, right now they're in Taurus, right? Or, the third house of that is in Taurus. And Taurus is always saying, no, I don't need change. I need the stability. I need things to remain the same. It's been working for me. Right? And so, but that can stagnate us. So Jupiter could bring something to your life. I've seen it before where it just, we always think of Jupiter as the great benefic. Yeah, it is, with benefits and opportunities and good luck. That's true. But this challenge here could be saying you can only have good luck if you be who you are, if you, right? If you take control of your own well-being and your self-worth, kind of. It's in that house in Aries. Aries is the ruler of the full moon, and Aries wants you to take action. It wants you to, act on your will, right? That's what it does, or Mars. And so this is, about courage here. It's challenging your courage here, Pisces, to step into your talents or step into the true you, right? Yeah, and Pluto is here about endings in your 12th house of endings, and that's your personal power as well. All right. If you follow your heart here, we can also say here, Pisces, that this North Node can be following your heart. It's following your higher potential, your true potential, your fate and destiny. And I like to call it it's also about foreigners and groups of people. But I like to call it the North Star because that's where everybody was everybody was going there, right? They were trying to, follow to see Jesus, the kings, and they were astrologers. Yes, they were. They were following the North Star. That's how they could get there, by following the star, right? They were astrologers. So, and that the North Star is where we all want to go. Yes, it is, right? And leave this behind here in your seventh house of relationships, or how you create harmony or fairness or balance in your life, right? And that could be within, maybe, right? But here we have, or for yourself, right? Of course. The moon is trining Jupiter here. This highly transformative moon is trining Jupiter and saying that, hey, you can have growth and expansion if you let something end here, or if you can see beneath the veil. That's really it. If you can trust your intuition and see what's been hidden to you. This could be saying you're highly talented here, right? And I can move into the higher purpose, my higher self, with Jupiter in the fifth house, right? Yeah, it is definitely telling you to do that. Uh, Yeah, Jupiter is ruling this. Yeah, from the moon. Look at that. Jupiter rules your first house of self and your ninth house of purpose. And I might have mentioned that earlier, but this is a really great transformative moon for you in another water sign. It's in a fixed sign too. So sometimes a fixed sign is, something powerful because it wants something lasting. Yeah. So getting a little excited here, right, about your horoscope. But thanks so much for joining me here, Pisces. If you've enjoyed my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell so you can be notified of my next upload. If you'd like a reading with me, I approach the chart in a whole new way. It's highly transformative. It also shows you that all these things that happened in your life are not your fault. Yeah, that is, it shows you what the things are, of course, but childhood and all this stuff. But that's highly transformative and empowering, right? And then I show you your talents and yeah, and all these kind of things, and also the tools to overcome whatever's happening in your own natal chart, all right? Because we all have challenges, and that's why we have Saturn in astrology, and also Pluto and Mars, and all these planets that that help us, and but they really help us to see our true potential. That's really what they're trying to do, and help us to move forward and really enjoy our true potential. So thanks so much for joining me here, Pisces, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit the little bell so you can be notified of my upload.